Welcome back to the Marketing Shakedown, the podcast where we mix bold ideas, bad decisions, and good strategy.
And today, you guys picked our chaos. We took a Facebook poll for the weirdest business idea that you could think of, and here it is. Product we never thought we would talk about professionally, and that's edible taco tape.
Edible, edible, edible. We're going to take this tape from concept to launch using a real business building framework. We might even ruin taco night forever. Let's get it.
Woo!
All right. So, first thing we need to do when starting a business is we want to clarify the vision. So, what does this, Jody, in your opinion, this edible taco tape, what does it solve? I mean, who needs it? What kind of tone do we need with this? I mean, what's your thoughts on this?
Hey, so I always think in terms of problem and solution. So if your problem is that your taco, your burrito, any sort of foldable, rollable thing like that keeps falling apart in your hands as you're eating it, which, to be honest, is unless you're a master burrito or taco roller, you're going to have that problem. The leaking juice or the leaking lettuce or whatever. So, the solution would be something that you could tape it up with and eat it. Uh, I think that's a great solution to the problem. Who needs it? Anybody who loves tacos. I think it's a great product for college kids.
Oh yeah.
Um, a fun, uh, something fun for someone who has like a taco truck. They could use that as like their marketing hook
Yeah.
for a company. Um, yeah, and so kitchen cooks, people who are making tacos at home and they don't want to make a mess everywhere, so they'll have the taco tape to use.
So
And
this,
I think it's a quirky idea. It's a quirky
yeah.
idea, so I think you have to push that quirky idea in the and clarifying the vision of it.
So it's summertime, and I absolutely love a tomato and mayonnaise sandwich. But
Ooh.
the tomato and the bread has to be super fresh, but the tomato is slippery. I'm wondering if this could be like bacon flavored tape. You could tape up your sandwich.
Oh
It'd keep
my
the BLT.
gosh. That's a great idea. Yeah, you could not just taco tape, you could make it launch it into just food tape,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
And
For your sushi.
I mean for your sushi, oh my gosh, yeah, anything that's like collapsible that should be handheld or
Collapsible.
should be, I mean, you could even, I don't even, you could even eventually do like, we use like lint rollers that for our dog that are like
Yeah.
paint size, like a paint roll size. You could even use it for like people who are bad bakers and they want to keep their cake from sliding. You just take that big tape, the paint size roller of the edible tape, and tape the outside of your cake, and you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, so we've clarified the vision. What's the next step, Jody?
yes, we want to validate the idea. So this is where you do your market testing. You kind of like put the idea out there um, with your audience, or you can even in your circle of friends, people you trust, poll them, kind of walk through some of the pros and cons or the issues that you might come into whenever you're developing.
Yeah, is this
You
something
can
you
even
could buy? Is this something that you
mhm,
feel like is needed?
right, and you clarify that message of the problem and the solution.
Yes. You always go back
Hmm.
to that.
Hmm.
And like you said, just your close circle of friends and just, be upfront, be honest with me. Is this something that
Hmm.
you think would be marketable and sellable? And most of the
Right,
time, if they're good friends, they're going to be extremely honest and tell you.
right, right. Um, I think that's the way to do it is really trying to put your fillers out to the
Yes.
people you trust. Yeah,
Yes, we all have great ideas that we love, but all of us are different, and that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone else will love it.
right.
Like Alice Cooper Live. I love Alice Cooper. A lot of people don't. So, okay, so we've got our what do we have? What do we have? We have our vision, We have
Mm-hmm.
the idea validated by our peers.
Mm-hmm.
And so next we're going to create a business plan. You would be surprised how many businesses I talk to. And I mean, I understand you have an idea, you just jump right in and you do it, and business plan gets put off and to the side. And I have learned as a business person that you can get caught up doing the little things, but if you don't have a long game that you're shooting for, you'll always be doing the little things. And I feel like having a business plan, you know, what's our target? Where are we going with this? Are we just biding our time until, I think that that's very important to have a business plan. Who's it for? How are we going to sell it? What's our plans 3 years from now? Are we going to try to land in Target? I mean, or do we just want it to be small? What do you think, Jody?
I think you start local
Mm-hmm.
with you could start with farmers markets and
Yeah.
local restaurants or things like that. Like I think you could find someone who would really kind of like road test it for you, like a food truck. If you had a friend who had a food truck and you kind of like had them test it out, you know,
Yeah.
locally to see how the audience feels about it. And then you start building up as you go. Like you don't like we're not all just like immediately jumping on Shark Tank as soon as we develop an idea, right? Like it
Right.
grows like with anything, you start small and you just keep building your sphere of influence and trying to get the product further. But I do think once you get to a point where you can like actually start wholesaling or, then you think about food related stores, in my opinion.
And
You
the
could do
Holy
grocery
Trinity.
stores.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And I've always said the Holy Trinity: food, babies, and pets. You've got a
Right.
food product, man, you've got it made. But
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of food products out there. So you have to stand out.
Right.
You can't blend.
Right. I
So we
mean, you could even think about partnering with like a bigger, like a chain restaurant at some point and introducing that into their menu,
yeah.
being their, you know. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting path you could take.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. But
That
that's going to have a lot to do with our next step.
right. Your name and branding. So here's a name I just thought of.
Okay. Okay.
Tape O
Tapo.
instead of
Oh,
taco, tape O.
oh, got you. A play on the
Or
word.
you can even like burrito,
Yeah.
taco, tapo. Anyway, but that's for the specifically Mexican cuisine usage. But you
If
could
if we
also
if you started out though with tacos, everybody loves tacos. Who doesn't love tacos? I think there's actually like a
everybody,
taco diet. Um,
right?
so you could start out with tacos and then see how it goes before you got into tomato sandwiches or
Mm-hmm.
humongous hamburgers that you buy at the, dive bar, that kind of thing. So
Right.
colors, the vibe, is this something that you think should be a silly tone, a cheeky tone, or is it something that could eventually have a professional, or not a professional, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like a higher scale look.
Right. I think that I mean, there's two schools of thought here, right? Like, do
Hmm.
you want to be like fresh and like if we're going quirky, I think you could have some cool patterns that relate to it, colorful, whatever, if you're really trying to like go quirky. But if you want it to be more like tolerable for people who are like, this is weird, I'm eating edible tape, um, then you could do like, oh, this looks like tortilla, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
this looks like whatever texture I'm wanting to cover. So It's just the difference between like washi tape that people use for like decorating, that like Asian
Yeah,
tape
yeah,
that people, and something like masking tape or electrical tape that they use that's closer to whatever
yes,
color, like electrical tape would cover like the wiring and stuff.
yes.
So
So
just
I,
a matter
I'm
if you want to stand out or camouflage.
yeah, I'm really thinking silly. I
Mm-hmm.
think of Taco Bell has the best marketing I believe I've ever
Oh my
seen.
God.
Do you follow them on Instagram?
I love it. I
Oh,
love their stuff. And I love eating Taco Bell.
well, I like Taco Bell too, but I feel like that's the vibe that should be taken, and it be sort of cheeky and
Um,
fun. And I mean, I automatically see yellow and brown, I guess, because of tacos, and red
right,
tomatoes and green from the lettuce. And
right.
I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, I don't think, right off the bat. I just think it needs to be memorable. And oh my gosh, have you seen the taco tape? And or whatever
Right.
name you decide to come up with.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got all of that laid out, and then next we need to do the legal side of everything, which is the terrible side, and a lot of guidance is needed because if you've never had a business before, you don't know what to do and what not to do. And this is a hard lesson that I learned. When I first started photography, I had my business for several years and was not told several things by my accountant. And when I changed
Mm-hmm.
accountants, she told me, you've been doing this the wrong way. We're going to have to back pay some. It wasn't a lot. I think it was like $3 or $4,000, but I mean that was still a lot to me at the time. It's a
Mm-hmm.
brand new business starting out, or started to really start to bring in some money, and then there it goes. But you've got to talk about, are you going to be a LLC or a sole proprietor? Um, the state
Right.
of Tennessee. What do you have to do in your city, your county? And I mean, I personally think the first thing you should do when you get ready to start a business at this point is to get an accountant and talk to that accountant and say, this is what I want to do. And most of the time we have a personal one unless we're doing, something
Mm-hmm.
online. This is what I want to do. What's the best steps for me? Because go to the professional. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but that's better than costing you a whole lot of money in the long run doing things wrong. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And also talk to a lawyer,
An attorney, yes,
and
yes.
especially if you're inventing something such as taco tape, seeing if you can get a patent for it. Um, Manufacturing, these are, you want to talk to professionals who know what they're doing.
And have you done
Um,
your research? Is there another
yes,
taco tape?
right.
Is that a name that's already been used? Is that
Mm-hmm.
a domain that's being used? What's it being used for? So there's a lot to take into consideration before you can just jump in and say, I made this in my kitchen, here it is for sale.
Right. All this stuff you have to do on the back end, behind the scenes, before you launch to the general public,
Yeah,
to make sure your ducks are in a row and your tacos are taped up.
yeah. All right, what comes next,
Okay.
Jody?
Okay. So, like we said before, we were talking about talking to an accountant. So, set up your finances. You
Yes.
want to make sure, like, get a bank account that's or a credit card or whatever that's specifically set up for the business that you don't intermix your finances with. Um, it makes it so much easier when you're doing taxes to have just the one account that you pull from. It And if you're setting up an LLC or whatever, it's better to keep it separate for
Yeah,
liability reasons, right?
yeah.
Um, you want to just toss in a Venmo. Well, okay, so here's the deal. You The mistake I made as being a freelancer was I was just using my card that I use for everything, and then I had to like sort through at the end of the year and like
Mhm.
really when it's something I could have been keeping up with as I went, or I could have kept a separate account that where I could just pull my statements and do, you know,
Right.
total up my expenses for taxes from there. So anyway, you definitely want to keep things separate as much as you can.
Yes. Like I have a business checking account, a personal checking
Mhm.
account. I have a business credit card. I have
Mhm.
a savings account that's an emergency fund. I have another account that I use for taxes so it doesn't hit me really hard at one time. And then I'm supposed to have another account theoretically for profit. And that's supposed to be my fun, let's go on vacation money, or we need a new car, or something like that. It's something that we want or maybe need that we could necessarily do without is that
Mhm.
profit. What am I doing this for?
Mhm.
If I'm just making a check, or a paycheck every other week,
Mhm.
why don't I just go to work for somebody else and let them take on all the burden? You have to think about your profit. That's hard. That's really
Mhm.
hard because a lot of the profit will go back into your taco tape business, trying to make it faster, more efficient, market it better. It's being a small business owner is not for the weak. I know you've seen the meme going around, but it's really not.
Full time,
Oh yeah, yeah,
12 midnight to
yeah.
midnight to 11:59 p.m. job. You
Right.
never know what's going to happen.
And Venmo
Um,
and PayPal can really get you in a lot of trouble too. You just really have to be
mhm.
on your P's and Q's with that. I had
Mhm.
somebody literally screw me out of some money through Venmo one time. And I've helped other businesses get their PayPal back that PayPal held hostage because of things that they needed from them that they didn't quite understand. So I would try
Right.
to stay away from that as much as possible. And I know that's the easy way to take digital money right then without taking the hit of the card or whatever card fees, but that all catches up with you. It really does. All
Yep.
right, so next step, we've got all of our finances laid out. We know where we're going. We've done our research. We're going to build our online presence. Do we need a website? Do we need an Etsy?
Check. Check. Maybe. I think it
Yeah.
might be a good idea to have an Etsy just spread out among the internet.
So this type of
Shopify,
business, where's the social media handle you think that they should be on?
Instagram, Facebook, Facebook locally, but Instagram, I think would reach because if you're doing that like quirky sort of Taco Bell aesthetic, you
Right.
want to, I think like a lot of, I see a lot of like 20, late teens to like mid 40s
So that's what
on
I was going to
Instagram.
say. You got to think about your
Hmm.
demographic, who's going to buy it. They're going to be on TikTok.
TikTok, yes.
So that's
TikTok. Oh, yeah.
That's,
Hmm.
in my opinion, that and Instagram Reels is where you need to be. You could be on every single platform there is. I don't think there's a place for it on LinkedIn or Pinterest. But if you're on it on TikTok and Instagram and you really baby that social media handle and treat social media like it's supposed to be treated, like a party you're at and you're going to talk to everybody at the party, you're not going to stand on the wall and watch like a creep, you want to
Right.
interact with people. And I think if you really did that and you really hit TikTok with maybe some influencers or something like that, or your friends,
Hmm.
get them to share it. I think that's gold for this type of material that you want to market.
Right. Right. And I think get your find a handle that you can get across all platforms if you
Oh yeah.
can.
Yeah, yeah.
And that way you can just put at whatever on all your marketing. And
Right.
it's wherever they go, you will have the, you know. So you want to be try to do that early on, I would say.
And that's another mistake I see a lot of businesses make. They'll start a Facebook and it's at, let's just say, Kent Marketing. And then they start an Instagram and it's at
Hmm.
Brandy K123. And then they go to TikTok and
Hmm.
it's at BKP Marketing. So then it would be a whole lot easier if all were set up as Kemp Marketing. That way, like you said, if you say I'm at Kemp Marketing, when people Google you, all of that's going to show up. So I think
Right.
it's very
Mm-hmm.
important to be consistent across multiple handles if you're going to go that way, you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So we know where we're going to
Um,
go. What's the marketing launch for that?
so part of the marketing launch would be guerrilla marketing.
Oh,
So
yeah,
really the
our favorite.
grassroots aspect. Show up at taco trucks, have them try the tape out. Stand
Yeah,
there and like maybe even buy some tacos from the taco truck to give out with the tape on it.
there
You
you
know,
go. The people
that
standing
not
in line.
not
Yeah,
only are you getting exposure to like the general public, you're also like networking with local truck, you know, taco trucks or whatever kind of food truck, and you're supporting small business by buying from them also.
exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and then you can like co-market with that too, and like say, hey, you know, with permission, you can collaborate on Instagram. You can invite them to collaborate. And so it shows up on their news feed too. And so you can do a bunch of like pop-up events like that.
Yeah, or even
Um,
coupons. Buy,
hmm
$20 worth of tacos from Taco Lima, the taco truck in Milan. Get
hmm
10% off your next order of taco tape, and have a little coupon,
Right.
or buy your taco tape and get a free taco
hmm
from us, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
totally.
it would be no time, I would think, before you could get into Taco Bell, especially if you gather their attention from TikTok and YouTube and you really plugged away at it hard. I bet it wouldn't take long, or
hmm
at least, what was the other taco place that had the Choco Taco?
Del there's a Del Taco around here locally. I
Was
mean, I think it's across
Ponchos? Was it called
Taco John Ponchos.
Taco
Hmm.
John's? That's it. They had the Choco Tacos as a dessert. That's my
Oh
first
man.
love. Gosh, I miss.
Bring them back. I don't know if they're still around, but
But guerrilla marketing
uh,
definitely, I think, works for just about every business there is. It's a way to get people's
right,
attention, a different way. Because everyone else is doing the same thing. Why do you want to blend in with the rest of the sheep? Be your own.
right, totally. You can definitely do some like video. I think you do some teaser videos leading up to it, Easter egg a little bit. Um, you show the problem too.
Yeah.
This, like old cute like infomercials. They'd be like, "Oh, the Tupperware is falling all over me, but here's the solution." I mean, you could do like obviously sarcastically, but you could do, "Oh, my taco's falling apart. What do I do?"
Yeah. And
And
then
then
once it's done,
taco
they
tape
smile
solution.
and you get the little ting on the side of their
Yeah,
ting. Yeah. With the thumbs up.
look, you get a taco in one hand and thumbs up in the other, because now you don't need two hands to eat your taco. You can
Wait a
eat it
minute.
with one hand.
I hear a tagline coming. That somehow is going to be into a tagline. You got to have a
All right.
tagline. You got to have one, especially with this type of product. So,
I feel like, hold on,
okay, I'm listening.
parody of Alanis Morissette. Got one hand in my pocket.
And the
I
other one,
got one hand on my taco, and the other one's waving the taxi cab. Got one hand in my taco, on my taco, and the other one's giving a high five.
do you think Alanis would
You
do that?
know? I feel like we could probably do some legality wise. Maybe we could get some parody situations happening, but you never know. I gotta check out if Alanis is a taco fan.
She was on something recently.
Surely.
Looked really, really good too. Okay, so next we got set up your tools and operations. Who is going to make this? Are we going to make this at home in
Here,
our kitchen?
no, you had to have a prototype, right?
Yes.
And then you seek out manufacturing. Love local manufacturing if you can find someone locally who would do it. Um, also like what are the best materials? Are you going to use like rice paper? Like, does it need to be dissolvable? Do you want it to be chewy? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, and
you're
something
gonna
else
have
you
to.
really need to think about is the allergies of food and making sure that your
Mm-hmm.
ingredients are listed. And I think I read where
Mm-hmm.
the Food and Drug Administration, you only have to be like 20% close. It was something dumb. I was like, oh my gosh, you don't have to be like
Mm-hmm.
right on the money. Of course, nobody's going to be, but it was
Yeah.
it was a huge spread of how close you had to be to the nutrients, all the numbers and everything, which was
Mm-hmm.
totally blew my mind.
Hmm.
All right, so we've got all
Yes.
that done. What comes next?
We're gonna launch it.
Yeah.
Woo! So once we have all of our ducks in a row, we're gonna launch our products. So what does day one look like? Will we sell out on the packs that we've ordered? Are we gonna do pre-sales? Are we gonna, you know, what are we gonna do when Taco Bell does a cease and desist letter?
That's why you need an
Or
attorney.
joking, total joking. But what your launch is going to look like how you're rolling it out. Are you going to do like Easter egging and for like the first 30 days and then launch it, or are you going to, you know, what events? What all do you have to do leading up to the events? What all do you have to do leading up to the marketing of it? You'll have to get photos and you'll have to, have content ready to go so you're not scrambling right before. Um, so you can sort of just enjoy watching the sales roll in the
Yes.
day of launch. Yeah.
Yes. I see a lot of
Hmm.
business people. I think there's two types of business owners. One where they just jump in, maybe three different
Hmm.
types. One where they just jump in and figure everything out as they go. One where they go through these steps maybe and then say, okay, I got it together. And then one
Hmm.
that totally thinks about it and thinks about it and overthinks about it and overthinks about it and then
Hmm.
they never open. I
Hmm.
see a lot of people do that. And I'm like, just
Right.
leap, just jump, I mean, you have to have some ducks in a row. You can't just jump, but
Right.
you know what I mean? There's a lot that would overthink it, and maybe that's the right way to be sometimes, but I know I've talked about this before, but the Big Magic, the book that I've read, they say that so many things are out in the universe, and if you don't grab it, somebody else is going to think about edible taco tape if you drag your
Hmm.
feet trying to launch it, someone else is thinking
Lucky people who are listening to this podcast.
about it.
I'm not really into food manufacturing at the moment, so
Right.
that's fine. I'm happy to have the idea out in the world. Although we should shout out Cats for giving us the idea, right?
That was Cat.
Okay, we're telling too much on the internet. Just say Cat, thank you.
Yes, yes. So there is an option if you're one of those three people and you don't want to jump quickly and you're kind of
Hmm.
on the fence, you can start a side hustle. Keep your full-time job and then start out testing in small batches. Like you said before, sell at festivals, food trucks, online for just fun money. And that may be your way to get into your peers to say, hey, do you think this could really be something past the initial talk, um
Hmm.
most businesses, I did a side hustle for 5 years before I completely jumped in, talking about dragging your feet. So
Hmm.
side hustles are not bad, but you still need to make sure that some other things are taken care of, like your attorney and your accountant
Hmm.
and that your research is done and where you want to go with this side hustle.
Totally. Totally. Um, okay. Well, so Brandy, do you think edible tape is going to change the world? Edible taco tape, I should say, will change the world. Probably
Edible
not, right?
bacon tape would change my summer sandwiches.
Edible bacon tape would change my life. Maybe not the world, but it'll change my life.
So what flavor would it be on a taco? Like avocado flavor? Oh, avocado flavored.
Yeah, you could have it lime flavored, maybe cilantro for people who like cilantro.
It doesn't taste like soap. Uh,
That doesn't taste like soap.
Nacho cheese. Was
Nacho.
it one piece of
Hmm.
tape or is the whole taco covered in tape? I wonder.
I think you have to have a variety of sizes. I don't know. That's a testing. We'll have to test
Yeah,
that out in the
yeah, yeah.
kitchen.
All right,
Test it out in the kitchen. We can't answer all the questions in this product today, but we gave a lot of good ideas.
yes, yes. So we just walked through 11 real steps that anyone can follow to launch their own wild ideas, such as taco tape.
Hmm. And whether you're building taco tape or teaching goat yoga, this is the process. Now it's your turn. What ridiculous business should we build next?
I have some ideas, but I would like to go to the masses and ask them.
Yes.
Yeah, we
All
should do
right.
that. All right, let's tape this one up and call it a wrap. Ha ha.
All right.
See y'all
Sounds
next
great.
week on the Marketing Shakedown.
Bye.